Yes. I won't bite you.
It's okay. I'm gonna put the mayor here and the judge on the other side.
Great. All right. Hello. I'd like to welcome everyone to Census Day, 1 year out. My name is Anna McNaught. I am the 2020 Census Coordinator at Houston in Action. Houston in Action is a collective power of community members and more than 50 institutions or organizations from the greater Houston area who have come together to promote community leadership and break down systemic and historical barriers to civic participation. Hola, me gustaría darles la bienvenida a todos y todas el día del censo a un año de la fecha. Mi nombre es Anna McNaught. Soy la coordinadora del censo del 2020 de Houston in Action. Houston in Action es el poder colectivo de los y las integrantes de la comunidad y más de 50 instituciones y organizaciones de la región de Houston y sus alrededores, los cuales se han congregado para promover liderazgo comunitario y romper las barreras sistémicas e históricas a la participación ciudadana. El día de hoy escucharemos de colaboradores y líderes de alguna de las organizaciones asociadas con Houston in Action. Today, we will hear from members and leaders from some of our Houston in Action partner members, including Engage and Empowering Communities Initiative, who are engaging Asian American, Pacific Islander, and Muslim community members here in Houston. Houston Area Urban League, who engages the African American community here in Houston. United We Dream Texas, a movement of undocumented youth engaging their community here in Houston. Volunteer Houston, a program of interfaith ministries who is working to transform the greater Houston community through volunteerism. Thank you all for being here. I would also like to recognize the work of the following Houston in Action member partners who are here in the room today, including members and leadership from Baker Ripley, Boat People SOS, Mi Familia Vota, OCA of Greater Houston, Naleo Educational Fund, Texas Advocates for Justice, Texas Freedom Network, Texas Rising. Thank you again for being here. Houston in Action is excited to be working in formal partnership with the City of Houston and Harris County for 2020 Census. Los miembros de Houston in Action están emocionados estar en esta colaboración formal con la ciudad de Houston y el condado Harris para el censo del 2020. We would like to thank Mayor Sylvester Turner and the staff at City Hall for accommodating us here today. We're glad the mayor is able to join us and share some of what the city is working on, as well as join together towards a complete count for the 2020 census, here in our hometown of Houston, Texas. Houston in Action thanks Harris County Judge Lina Hidalgo and her staff for prioritizing today's event and also sharing with the public the efforts ahead for Harris County as we embark on the year ahead to make sure that every resident in our region is counted and that Harris County has a representation and resources it needs. Thank you to the Census Bureau. We are here to support you and we look forward to working together. We'd also like to recognize all the elected officials who have joined us here today. Please stand or wave. Getting a complete count for the 2020 census is going to take all of us, and Houston in Action appreciates all of its partners and those who are coming together for the year ahead. Obtener una cuenta completa para el censo del 2020 va a necesitar la colaboración de todos y todas. Houston in Action aprecia a todos sus colaboradores y a todos los que vinieron el día de hoy en preparación para el próximo año. Now we'll hear from our speakers today. Mayor?
Thank you so very, very much. And Judge, County Judge, it's good to be with you, Judge Hidalgo, and all of the other elected officials. And of course, we're standing here with Comptroller Chris Brown, who is here, and then Councilmember Cisneros, Councilmember Gallegos, and Councilmember Christie. Then all of the department heads with the City of Houston. If you're a department head, just kind of wave your hand. And if you're a department head, I'll say, a number of them. And I see Mike with Unfaced Ministries that's back there as well. So thank you all for being here. Welcome to Houston City Hall for Census Day of Action 2019, the official kickoff of the cities and county and the regional 2020 census campaign. Houston is joining cities across the country today, including Los Angeles and Phoenix, in what some are describing as the Census 2020 Call to Action Day. And this is a very important day because beginning today, we are, we are creating the momentum for the next year to make sure every person in Houston is counted. And I mean every single person. Doesn't matter where you come from, what language you speak, what your faith is, whether you're documented or undocumented. It's just important that we count you in this census report, especially individuals in historically undercounted communities like immigrants and minority populations. We also are here to remind and encourage everyone to answer the questionnaire when you get it. You're probably saying to yourself, the census is a year away, so why are they talking about it today? The answer is very, very simple. We must get a full and accurate 2020 census count of everyone living in the city, everyone living in the county, and the U.S. Constitution requires a census every 10 years to ensure equal representation for all communities. The data determines how more than $800 billion, let me underscore, $800 billion in federal resources will be allocated. The Census 2020 will determine the number of congressional seats, redistricting, and the distribution of billions of dollars in federal funding to support infrastructure and vital programs needed for our communities. Houston, for example, just Houston, could lose about $1,578 for each person who is not counted. Just think about it, $1,578 per person if you're not counted. I'm talking about women and children, okay? And if we undercount 10% of the city's population, we could lose $3.78 billion over the course of a decade. Roads, parks, and public facility projects could be jeopardized, housing workforce development programs could be affected, and school programs could be cut. I'm here to ask you to support the city and county and our partners to promote the importance of being counted. We know there will be barriers. Some people worry about sharing information or they distrust the government, and there are people who live in the shadows, but they must be counted. The historically hard-to-count populations are young children, highly mobile persons, racial and ethnic minorities, non-English speakers, low-income persons, persons experiencing homelessness, undocumented immigrants, persons who distrust the government, LGBTQ persons, persons with mental or physical disabilities, persons who do not live in traditional housing. We are working collaboratively to make Census 2020 a success. The city's Planning and Development Department will lead the city's Census 2020 effort and will collaborate with Houston in Action and Harris County to ensure there are neither gaps or overlaps in our efforts. The success of the 2020 census depends on everyone's participation, and success of this campaign depends on the integrated partnership with several organizations. Let me just say, when I was in college, I was an enumerator. I would go and knock on your door and say, who's in there and how many people are in there? And there were some people who were very, very nice, and then there were some people who were not very nice, okay? But the important thing is that we just need to count you, okay? And in a time when there's so much noise in the air and so much talk about people being deported or who's here, it is important for all of us working together to let people know we are not trying to, we're not trying to deport you. The information is not to try to intimidate you. We just need to know who you are. I mean, who's there, how many people are there, so that we can pull down the federal dollars that can work on your behalf, regardless of where you are. So that's my take. Now let me introduce none other than the county judge of the Harris County, County Judge Lena Hidalgo, to say a few words. Judge, it's just so glad to have you here.
Thank you so much, Mayor, for that introduction. It's so wonderful seeing you. Thank you to the council members who are here, all the department heads as well. I see our county treasurer here, Dylan Osborne, and other folks from the county. It is just so wonderful to see the diversity of folks and agencies, levels of government coming together for this very, very important initiative. I can't overstate the importance of the census. We stand to gain or to lose representation, funding for our programs that keep our county and our cities running. We stand to gain or lose our ability to do our work. That is why it's so important to make sure everybody's counted. The Constitution of the United States says there shall be an enumeration of all persons. Everybody in our country must be counted, and that means everybody in our county. As the mayor mentioned, hundreds of billions of dollars are allocated based on the census. Our political boundaries are decided based on the census. Each resident that is counted brings over $1,000 to our government coffers to be able to provide the services each person deserves. And that's why we have to make sure each and every neighbor is counted. It's not easy, especially after Harvey, especially with a diverse population, especially with a growing population. We celebrate the fact that our region is growing, but that means that we have to involve all of the newcomers, that we have to make sure we get to each person. And for that reason, we've brought together an unprecedented effort to make sure that everyone is counted. We're starting a complete count committee, and this is an initiative that takes place in different communities across the nation. And normally it brings together cities and counties for the service of a complete count, of everybody being counted. What we're doing here is partnering not just the city of Houston and Harris County, but also with a range of organizations. We're working with Houston in Action, dozens of organizations and the Houston Endowment to make sure that we're all pulling our weight, we're all leveraging our resources, our expertise, our network, our communities, so that we empower everyone to be counted, so that we go to every home and make sure that our community is represented as it should be. It's a very special effort, and I so look forward to working with Houston in Action going forward, and with our mayor, with their different departments across city and county to make sure that we do this right. Remember, the census and participating in the census is part of our civic duty as residents of Harris County. It is our responsibility to participate, and it is our responsibility to make sure that our neighbors participate and are counted as well. I invite you to visit HoustonInAction.org. The Contact Us form has an opportunity for folks to sign up so they can help out like the mayor did back when he was at school, so folks can get involved in the way that works for them. And I hope it'll be less scary these days, Mayor, if we get the community to understand the importance of participating in the census and of making sure their county. Know that the county is committed to this, that we're committed to ensuring that our community knows that they're safe participating in the census, that we want to count you, that we want to make sure that resources respond to the realities in our community, the reality that we've got one of the most diverse counties in the country, that we've got a growing population, a beautiful, diverse population, and that we must respond to that adequately. Brevemente en español, es muy importante el censo. Podemos ganar o perder representación, ganar o perder dólares para nuestra comunidad. El censo define cientos de miles de millones de dólares que vienen a nuestras comunidades por cada persona que es contada. Son más de $1,000 que llegan a los gobiernos locales, que nos permiten proveer servicios de salud, transporte y otro tipo de servicios que requieren nuestras comunidades. Es por eso que tenemos que contar a cada residente. No es fácil. Tenemos una comunidad diversa, una comunidad que crece día tras día, una comunidad después del huracán Harvey que se ha movido bastante, pero por eso estamos trabajando en una iniciativa nunca antes vista. Estamos formando un comité, el Complete Count Committee. Eso significa una asociación entre la ciudad de Houston, el condado Harris y docenas de organizaciones cívicas y comunitarias que estamos todos trabajando juntos para contar a cada residente de nuestro condado. Trabajaremos para que todos seamos contados y finalmente es responsabilidad nuestra como residentes de esta comunidad el participar en el censo. Es responsabilidad nuestra ayudar a que las demás personas también participen. Es por eso que los invito a visitar HoustonInAction.org. Allá en el link de Contáctenos pueden encontrar oportunidades para involucrarse, ayudar y ser voluntario para que todos en nuestras comunidades sean contados, para que nuestra comunidad crezca de una manera que refleja la realidad de cada residente que vive en el condado Harris. Thank you so much again to Houston in Action for putting this together, to the mayor. Councilmember, thank you so much for hosting us today. I so look forward to this effort. We are a year away from April 1st, 2020, when this really will get underway, and we need everybody's help, everybody spreading the word. Please participate. Please support us. It takes all of us to get a complete count.
Thank you. I'm here. I didn't get lost. Thank you, Mayor Turner. Thank you, Judge Hidalgo. Thank you so much for welcoming us. And thank you to the Census Bureau. We are here to support you, and we look forward to working together. We'd also like to now join the organizations that are joining us today and for Houston in Action so that they can have a say in what they would like to see as well. So if you can, for the census, sorry, thank you to the census coordinator. If you can come to the stand, Ms. Rebecca Briscoe, with the census coordinator, and share with us your vision for the work.
Never seen a federal clearance for a media opportunity that quick. So I want to applaud you for that, okay? Council, Commissioners Court, and staff, I want to thank you for welcoming the Census Bureau to your home. We will count everyone once, only once, and in the right place. Everyone counts, including our children and newborns who are often missed at home. As we ramp up our operations, we will be utilizing technology more than ever. This will be the first census that you will have the option to complete online, phone, or mail. Online and phone will have translations in 13 different languages to date and 16 different language guides as we do our outreach in the community. Our partnership team will consist of some of the most passionate Houstonians I have ever met. And some of them are here today. So if you could acknowledge them, say a wave. More than ever, we will be counting on you, our trusted voices, the heartbeat of the community, who are our elected officials, our corporate and community partners, and of course, solidifying a complete count committee. Trusted voices are also include hiring field staff who resemble the community. Houston Metro, our area offices for the field, will consist of 6 area census offices opening, and one of them, the early area census office, will be opening at any day, and the rest in the summer. In Harris County alone, we will be recruiting up to 5,000 employees with a pay rate up to $24.50 an hour. Yes, $24.50 an hour. And the website where you can apply for those jobs now is 2020census.gov/jobs. It's safe. Your responses are secure. Under Title 13, we do not share our information with any federal law enforcement, which includes DHS and ICE. Every census employee takes a lifetime oath to protect your information for life, with hefty fines up to $250,000 and up to 5 years in prison. Everyone. With collaborated efforts, we can ensure our hard-to-count or historically underserved communities can become visible. In the state of Texas alone, $43 billion is allocated yearly based on census numbers in 2010. Critical programs that families depend on, such as Medicaid, SNAP, disaster recovery grants, and as a former Title I educator, the school lunch program, where most of my students that I taught came to school for 3 reasons. Number 1, to be safe for 8 hours from harm and danger, eat 3 meals a day, that means staying after school so they could get that snack, and then learn. So our official tagline is Shape Our Future. It starts here. So Houston, I'm counting on you, where we can turn the 4th largest city into the 3rd.
Thank you so much, Ms. Briscoe. So I would like to thank the Houston in Action members that are here, and I would like for them to come up and speak about their work.
Mayor Turner, Judge Hidalgo, members of the council, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Major Durrani. I'm the chair of Engage Texas, a nonprofit organization that attempts to empower Muslims, Arabs, and South Asians in the civic engagement space of the mainstream political spectrum. I'm also representing the Empowering Communities Initiative, which is a collaboration of several nonprofit Asian American organizations that have committed to work for the census. In 1 year from today, the 2020 census will be in full swing. Communities miss out on political power and needed funding, as elaborated and enumerated by Mayor Turner and Judge Hidalgo, if everyone is not counted. And that's why today we are all here. Civil rights groups and immigrant rights advocates and organizations that fight for young kids, groups that represent African Americans and Hispanic communities, and groups that represent the Asian American Pacific Islander communities are all committed to ensuring that everyone is counted. Empowering Communities Initiative, or ECI, that I'm representing today, and Engage, are committed to a fair and accurate 2020 census count, because if Asian Americans and Islander communities are not fully counted in census, we will miss out on investment resources that we need and deserve, and which we truly are at the present time underrepresented in. And that's why it's important to ask for a census in 2020 that recognize our community's voice. Our state could lose a member of Congress. Giving up political power could mean losing out on access to all kinds of resources without a chance to fix the problem for 10 years. Partisan politics is threatening to make this the least accurate census ever, which means places like Houston won't get the support we need. Let's make sure that Census 2020 counts all of us. When anyone in our community is missing in the census, we all lose. That's why we need a fair and accurate census. As the census director said, the census will be in several languages, so I'm just going to say a few words in Urdu, a language which is used in Southeast Asia. Assalamu alaikum, खुश आमदेद। हमारे लिए बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है कि हम सेंसस के अंदर हिस्सा लें। अगर हम लोग नहीं सेंसस के अंदर हिस्सा लेंगे, हम लोग काउंट नहीं होंगे, और हमारी ये जो रिप्रेजेंटेशन जो हम डिज़र्व करते हैं वो नहीं होगी। शुक्रिया बहुत। थैंक यू।
Good afternoon. My name is Andres. I'm a 20-year-old undocumented worker. I graduated from Chavez High School, and I got my welding diploma from HCC. Today, I'm here to tell you why me and my community need to be counted in the 2020 census. I am a resident of Houston, citizen or not. I use the same highways as you, and I am represented by the same members of the Congress. Undocumented workers need to be counted the same way as everybody else, even if we are not citizens. Our youth needs to be engaged in our community and push our community to fill out the census on 2020. My mother, 9 years ago, filled out the census. She was scared. We were new to the country, and she still did it. We were being counted in order for our community to be better, to have better fundings. With that being said, we need to push our community, our youth, and everybody to be counted in the census. Immigrants and our youth have the power to create and make a difference in our communities. Please be counted in the census. Our youth needs to be counted, our immigrants need to be counted, and everybody needs to be counted. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Judson Robinson, president of the Urban League here in Houston, Texas. Greetings to the mayor and to the county judge, our council members, and all elected officials. The Urban League is proud to be a part of Houston in Action. all of those nonprofits that are here in attendance today, many of whom are also members of this great organization, which is intended to make sure that we are reaching out to those communities that we work with on a daily basis. I think that's the beauty of what the nonprofit sector brings to this work, Mayor, is that we're in fact working with these clients on a regular basis, daily anyway. That relationship that is already in place helps us to be a trusted partner that can work to ensure they understand the nuances of why it's important to participate in the census, how it benefits them, to help them to understand that the services that they might be providing or receiving right there at that very moment have in fact something to do with the fact that they or the generation before them filled out the census. So this is really important. It's important not only to the individual, but it's important for the generations to come, for those of us who understand the importance of having adequate representation in government, for those of us who understand the importance of making sure that a policeman or a fireman shows up when you make the call, that these dollars are in fact tied to our individual ability to become engaged and involved in our community. Much like voting, filling out your census is very, very important. So I would hope that all of us in attendance are able to carry that message to those of us who might think this is just another form that came in the mail from the government, for those of us who might think this is a way for people to find out information about me that they don't have a right to know, to make sure they understand that this is a different opportunity than what they may have been told, that what they may have heard from others, because you in the community are the trusted sources. We in the community, the elected officials, the nonprofit leaders, we are the folks that are interacting with these individuals on a daily basis. I hope that all of you will see this as a serious charge that it is, to make sure that we're accountable to each other by participating in this census. Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Mayor.
Good afternoon, y'all. My name is Eleanor Gates, and I'm the director of Volunteer Houston, which is a program of Interfaith Ministries. Volunteer Houston connects individuals, groups, and businesses with nonprofit agencies like the Houston Area Urban League across the Houston area as well as Harris County so that we can transform our community through volunteerism. We appreciate the opportunity to stand here today with leaders and their organizations as we look to find ways to educate Houstonians as we move forward with the 2020 census. At Volunteer Houston, our core values center around volunteerism and civic engagement. These are both absolutely instrumental in democracy, and therefore, we are very excited for this call to action today for a diverse group of volunteers that will help support this effort that is so critical to our community. Today, Volunteer Houston pledges to work directly with all of these organizations to help connect them with volunteers so that we can work together within the nonprofit industry as well as the Census Bureau to make sure that we have a fair and accurate census count in 2020. Please be sure to follow volunteerhouston.org as well as HoustonInAction.org to find out more about volunteer opportunities as they become available. We look forward to working with each of our partners in HIA as we move forward with the census and encourage everyone to get involved. Not only is the count absolutely critical, so are our volunteers that are going to help educate our community on the importance of it. Thank you and have a great afternoon.
Thank you everyone for being here. Gracias por estar con nosotros. El censo del 2020 es sumamente importante para nuestra región, para mantener la seguridad, la salud, el tránsito y la representación de nuestras comunidades en el Estado y en el Congreso. The 2020 census is going to shape our future, and our partnership are going to play a vital role to making sure that the future is bright for our friends, families, and neighbors. If you, your community group, your school, your place of worship, or your neighborhood wants to get involved, please visit the Houston in Action website and click Contact Us. Visite HoustonInAction.org y dele clic a Contáctanos, or Contact Us, it's not in Spanish yet. to find out how you can find groups like the ones you've heard about from today to join in our community. Finally, thank you to the Houston in Action partners up here with me and those in the audience, Engage and ECI, Houston Area Urban League, United We Dream Texas, Volunteer Houston and Interfaith Ministries, Baker Ripley, Boat People SOS, Mi Familia Vota, OCA of Greater Houston, Naleo Educational Fund, Texas Advocates for Justice, Texas Freedom Network, Texas Rising. And thank you to the media, and getting the word out will take your partnership in Houston in Action to look forward to working with you over the next year. Thank you to the U.S. Census Bureau. We'll close for now, but if you want to have questions and answers, this is the moment. So the question, as you know, is obviously under challenge, and for good reasons right now. So for Houston in Action partners, we're remaining vigilant, and our mission is to ensure that our communities get the resources and the representation that they need to stay healthy and to ensure that we get a complete count. So we will continue to update on our website, and of course the organizations that are here are also working with the neighbors that we serve to ensure that the information is correct. So the question is in challenge right now until we have clear next steps on what that's going to look like. We are still in the same plan. Sorry? Okay. ¿Me la puedes preguntar en español? No, no es cierto. No, no es cierto. Entonces, la pregunta era acerca de la pregunta de la ciudadanía. Nosotras y nosotros en Houston in Action estamos comprometidos a dar la información correcta y verídica. Ahorita la pregunta todavía está en juicio, ¿verdad? Y nosotros nos vamos a mantener muy en estado de vigilancia para asegurarnos que la información que le damos a las comunidades sea verídica, y las organizaciones que son parte del grupo de Houston in Action también están trabajando con nuestras familias para asegurarnos que la información sea correcta. Entonces, hasta ahora el plan sigue en que vamos a estar en las comunidades y asegurarnos que nuestras comunidades estén contadas. Yeah, so there is a homeless count. So we are also working with the organizations that are involved to ensure that the homeless community is counted as well. El ejemplo es un ejercicio para que sepan cuáles son las preguntas que se van a hacer, ¿verdad? Entonces, hasta que esto no se anuncie este mes, creo que por el momento estamos esperando a que todo se anuncie, y de ahí vamos a dar más información concreta de cuál va a ser la manera en la que todas las organizaciones vamos a trabajar en conjunto para asegurar que nuestras familias se sientan seguras, se sientan empoderadas a contestar las preguntas, y también que entiendan todas las repercusiones que implica contar en el censo y todos los fondos que se necesitan traer a nuestras comunidades. Sí. So thank you, everyone. We're here if you have any questions. Muchas gracias por estar con nosotros esta tarde.